Hello, people. Hello, people. This is 77th once again, coming at you guys with another video. This is kind of a theory that I've been sitting on for quite some time, and I guess it's kind of been in the back burner for me or me waiting for the, I guess, right time to say it or make a video about it. And I feel like now is that time. So I'm gonna make a video about the world and how it works as far as sensors and intuitives. And I hope I can convey the message that I want properly. But without any further ado, let's go. And this is supposed to be a circle, and it's representing Earth. Okay, if you can make that out, Earth. Okay, and you've heard me say how many intuitives versus sensors are on the planet. It's about 8 to 8.5 billion people. 6.5 billion of them are sensors, and the other 1.5 to 2 billion are intuitives. So, but it's more or less, how I view the entire thing as a whole. So, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the Earth as this. Does anybody know what that word is? Yes, it's a zoo. And to me, that is basically what the Earth is. Okay. So now I'm going to make a key. To make a key, so to speak. And red will be sensors. And for those that, wonder why I spell sensor the way I do when it comes to sensors, it's because sensor, S-E-N-S-E, well, S-E-N-S-O-R is more of like a button to me, or something like that, or like an actual sensor, where when you pass by it, it goes off. To me, that is more what a sensor is. A sensor is a person in the context of what I mean. So I put E-R instead of the O-R. So just to clear that up. So let's see, what color am I going to use? I'm going to use green, and intuitives will be green. Okay. And to me, this is all the world is. Like I said, we have, um, yeah, so we got sensors and intuitives. So in the context of the zoo, like I said, okay, if you look at it, and I've also said in the past, there's, you know, I guess in this context, taken animals. If you want to look at an intuitive, we'll just say an animal with wings, or an eagle, or a bird, or something like that. And the sensor is a four-legged animal, or a land animal, any land animal you want. Take your pick. So, with that said, the Earth is nothing more than a sandbox or a zoo. Okay. And since there's 6.5 billion sensors, okay, Now, like I said, picture picture a zoo, picture a sandbox. Okay, picture either one, but I choose the zoo, a zoo, but it could be anything. So we're gonna take the sensor, which is 6.5 billion, and we're gonna spread them out all over the Earth. Okay, and of course, every dot is what, and we're starting to get the point. Okay, ESTPs, ISTPs, ISFJs, ESFJs, you name it. Okay, ESTJs, ISTJs, you name it. Okay. Now, usually in a zoo, you have certain departments for certain animals, right? You have that. Okay. But in our case, it's the whole world. So the zoo or the earth is for everyone. Okay. So to me, this is how it works. You know, you got 6.5 billion sensors, and I think I've kind of filled this up, right? I filled this up. Okay, just a few more spots. But yeah, this is what it is to me. Okay, so now we have 6.5 billion sensors. Now I've went and named them. Like I've said before, the entire planet is catered to sensors, namely through this, namely through that. Schools, the way schools are structured. You wake up every day, you go to school 7:30, 8 a.m. So they're training you from pre-K to 12th to get a job in the same manner, 9 to 5, what have you. So to do that for 70, 75, 80 years or however long you can work until you can't anymore. Okay. So, and then one generation, you can take that mom or dad, and then they have kids and they teach their kids to do the same thing. And it's a never ending generation after generation after generation of, you know, the same brainwashing and framework. So, and like I said, right under it is this guy right here. Okay. So, I've mentioned before about the SI dynamic. I've mentioned this. So, and what keeps this what keeps SI happy is, like I said, you go to work, you come home, you know, comfort, security, you have a job, you have a 401k, you have everything like that. So you have your alarm set every day so you never miss work, things like that. So that eases this NE. That eases this. Okay. You can also throw in tradition, how a person was raised. Okay. If a person was raised a certain way, they are going to want things to go this way when they're older, especially like if it's something they've done every day or a belief system, what have you. They will not deviate from this. And I've mentioned before, high SI, five senses, it's all they know. It's all they know. So what they learn throughout their life is what they know, unless they start using NE for other than the fourth slot, which most of the time is paranoia, fear, things like that. When you start to get NE higher or it's stronger, it's more you're open minded. You're open to different ways of thinking. You're open to different nuances of things. You're open to these things. But when you have NE, when it's weaker, you don't have any of those things. It's more about SI. Okay. So in the terms of SI, like I said, SI only knows what it has seen, what has been registered through their five senses. If it hasn't been registered in their five senses, they don't believe it. They don't care about it. It's not true. It's not real. A through Z. Because, like I said, SI only cares about what has been proven to work, like a job, like a 9 to 5. That has been proven to work as far as jobs. So, in any tradition, you name it, it's all SI. So, like I said, this way of thinking has consumed the world since this time. From the first caveman, from the first caveman discovering fire, this and this and that. Okay. So, like I've asked ChatGPT before to imagine the world without intuitives. Now, I don't know if you guys know the Wright brothers. One is an INTJ, and I think the other one is an INTP. I think so. That there's that. Albert Einstein is an INTP. What did he discover? Thomas Edison, intuitive thinker. All these guys, groundbreaking things that have transcended the world, like the plane, the theory of relativity, electricity. These guys are NTs, NT, intuitive thinkers. Socrates, Plato, these guys are intuitive thinkers. And I'm writing in red. So these guys are intuitive thinkers. So now that I've kind of said a little bit about the sensor, now we're going to put the intuitives in. As there are not that many of us, we make up the other 1.5 billion or 1.5 to 2 billion. Okay. And as I've said in one of my other videos, that, oh, and I said something mixed up. If you take about these sensors and sensor women versus men, there's 6.5 billion sensors. Of those 6.5 billion, there's more women than men. So you could roughly say that there's about 55, between 55 and 60% in women, as far sensor women, versus 45% men, sensor men. So because there's probably 10 women for every man on the planet, just to throw out a SITE statistic for you. So with that said, you can do the math on the ratios with that stat. So along with saying that, like I said, you're not, as far as the green dots, there's not as many green dots, of course, because even censor women, like I said, even though I've corrected myself, that there's more than 2.9 billion censor women. There's more. So if we got 6.5 billion, there's probably, it's more, 3.5, 4 billion censor women. But overall, you take that stat, there's about, well, incorporate that with everyone as a whole, the 8 to 8.5 billion, and you can do the math on that. So with saying that even with censored women, there's more, they outnumber intuitives, period. Okay. So a lot of times an intuitive will not be received, okay? Like an INFJ, with their NI, they will be deemed as weird. But I'm getting off base. I want to go back to the analogy with the centaur as the four-legged animal or the land animal, pick whichever one, and intuitives as eagles or birds, wings. So I've said before that, you know, if you take, so basically all it is with the INFJ is, imagine a said eagle with their wings clipped or broken. They land in sensor world, SI world, SE world. So they have no choice but to somewhat adhere to the rules of this side of the zoo, air versus land. So when dogs bark, dogs growl, dogs chase their tails. So when these guys see this eagle with wings and feathers, they're looking at it like it's retarded. What are you doing? You're not barking like us. You're not chasing your tail like us. Like I said, why aren't you doing this? Like I've said before, the SE in a sensor will judge and criticize what is not like them. They will judge it and criticize it to bits. They will rip it to shreds. Okay? You're not like us. Why aren't you barking? Why aren't you chasing your tail? Why aren't you growling? Something must be wrong with you. Something is wrong with you. You're not one of us. And this is your opportunity to SI or conform to what we are. Yes, this is a very interesting word. So, this is going to be the goal. They're going to criticize and criticize to make you feel like nothing or a piece of trash until you conform to their ways, their land ways, their SE/SE ways, or you will be ostracized, you will be ridiculed, exiled. This is how it works on land. So, yeah. So this, and like I said, this is 2025 years. It's 2025 years. Oh, wrong color. Well, I guess I can do it. 2025 years of history. I mean, these are things that are given, but look at this as more of a reminder of it, more from a MBTI perspective, that if you are not producing anything externally, if you are not producing anything externally, if you are not conforming and adhering to the sensor way of life, you will be judged. You will be criticized. Like I said, the US, the world, the earth belongs to 6.5 billion of these guys. It belongs to them because of the numbers. Okay. So, with that said, it's their way or the highway. So, and let me reiterate this point again, you have to produce externally. This is how these guys work: external gratification, transactional love, things like that. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. This is how these things work. So, this is how I view things. This is how I view things as far as the world. you know, I guess you could say more from an INFJ perspective. So you must adhere, you must conform, or you will be criticized, like I said. But I'll tell you guys something. There's this right here. And if you know me, you should know what this is and what it means to me. Okay? And there isn't going to be any conforming to anything. I don't know about anybody else or any other INFJ or anything like that. But there's no there's no compromising my belief system. None of that is happening here. Okay? It doesn't matter how much ridicule I face. Doesn't matter how much scrutiny I face. Doesn't matter. Just doesn't matter. So, um, so yeah, like I said, the Earth is a zoo. You got intuitives and sensors. The only two, you got humans split into two, intuitives and sensors, all in the zoo. 6.5 billion sensors, 1.5 to 2 billion intuitives. This is how it works. Like I said, the world is set up and catered and built for sensors. It's built for these guys. Like I said, schools, jobs, built for SI. It's built for SI. So, you know, SI doesn't want to hear anything about anything groundbreaking or anything like that. Unless when they see it, there's proof. Like with the Wright brothers. They had the plane. People were flying. Sensors have never seen that before. They've never seen that before. They've never seen that before. Okay? So, but they saw that it could benefit them. Okay? If sensors didn't believe planes would benefit them, they would have ran the Wright brothers out of town, out of the state, out of the country, out of the world. But luckily, they had proof. If they didn't have proof, you heard what I just said. So when it comes to these guys, this is how it works. This is you. If you do not produce, you will be scrutinized. You will be judged. And when I say that, I mean internally, because I know what this is. I know what this function is. I know what this function is. Okay. So FE, yes, it's the caring about the thoughts and feelings of others. But what it is also is FE also just likes to keep the peace. So it will say whatever it needs to keep the peace, even though this feels different inside of them. Now, until you make them angry or make them upset, then you'll get this. Then you'll get this one and you'll get this one, or this one and this one. So that's how it works. So, like I said, if you do not do that, you will be judged. So, like I said, with me, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So, wanted to make this video a little quicker. I hope I got my point across. Yeah. So, anybody got any comments or anything they want to make? Please comment. Other than that, it's 77. Signing out.